Hello friends, Jennifer Pearson here, Thistle Gypsy. And I did another one of those things where I take a deck to bed and I don't know, look at it, sort through it. A lot of times I just look through the deck in appreciation. And I hadn't had the Greenwood Tarot out for quite some time and decided that it would be the deck that comes to bed with me. And this is a deck I haven't fully connected with, and although I find what I found to be quite intriguing or interesting, I'm not sure that it will kind of put me over the edge in terms of feeling completely connected. But it was, I felt like I was finally really seeing into the deck. And I think that this might be a problem I have with, which is an awful problem to have, particularly gripping images, that I'm so fixated on the images that I kind of can't pull back from them and kind of put them in a context or something. So it was an interesting experience looking at the deck and wondering about things like that, and seeing some patterns. So I was looking at it. I just thought, and I can't remember why, but I thought, you know what, I have to put them in number order. So all the aces together, all the twos together, all the threes together. And this was just to look at the images and how they varied. And then I had the idea, but I didn't act on it. And then as I went through cards, as I continued to kind of look through the cards, I thought, no. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sort through them based on the ones that, to me, I know that they're not wood prints, but they look like wood prints to me. And they're more simplistic images. Well, I can't say that. Some of them actually are quite complicated. But they're not as smooth. And I'm not going to, have I kept them separate? What I discovered doing that is that, which, a lot of people probably the first time they go through the deck, they get this, but here I am coming late to the party. So this kind of appearance where the colors are laid out in a very smooth fashion, and the detail is there, as opposed to this, which has this smudgy look, or this, where you've got these radiating, where it's clear that she has laid something on top of something else. And these, to me, not this one so much, but this looks like a wood print kind of an image to me. Okay, and so what I discovered is that the major arcana and the court cards have the smoother, more harmonious, homogeneous kind of a look to it, and it is the minors, the numbered minors. And there still are some numbered minors that are not as wood printy as others, but for the most part, it is the numbered minors that are the other wood printy looking things. So I did that, and then I again, since I'd gotten into sorting mode, I went ahead and started to sort them according to aces, twos, threes, fours, fives, and did all of that. And I got to about, I think it was the sixes, where I start to see in the sixes there are a lot of repeating patterns among the sixes. and pretty blatant. So it took like a really blatant suit, or set of cards to kind of bring me into the fold here, and to kind of key into some of the things that are going on. And so then I just kind of went on, and I can't remember what, I think maybe the 8th I got to, and I was thinking, you know what, I think I can sort the numbered cards, which I don't think has ever occurred to me in a deck, as a story. So, we're used to thinking of the major arcana sort of being roughly a story. And so I was looking at the cards and seeing what, to me, was a progression. And so once I did that, I thought, all right, well, I'm going to go back to the aces. I'm going to see if each suit, to me, kind of offers a developmental progression of some kind. Each suit, each number offers a developmental progression of some kind. Because I am used to seeing that also, particularly the suit of, I would say the suits of pentacles and the suit and wands both have always struck me as having a very, very obvious developmental sequence. And I don't know that the suits in this deck do, but I feel like, and I think that may have been, or didn't seem to me to have that, and I think that's, but I'll have to go back and look again. But certainly the numbers, I can make it work. In some instances it certainly is forced, and I will be curious to hear how other people, if they take this idea of ordering the four cards of a given number and see them as developmental. If you're on board with that and you look at these and you say, no, Jennifer, it's the arrows that have to come before, the stones. You've got it backwards. Whatever. I would really be interested in hearing it, because I am open to other thoughts in that regard. So I'm going to do some here, and I'm going to try to keep this, like, if I don't lose track of time, I'm going to stop at 15 minutes, and then I'll just do what I can do in 15 minutes, and then I will do another video for the next set of numbers, however many I can get in, and do that through the numbered cards. And I'm even going to do it with the quartz, and I rearranged the major arcana, because I feel like this really is a very different deck, and I love any deck that takes the tarot structure and works with it. But when you do that, also at the same time, when you've made some changes, there can be some reordering that needs to be done, and I totally understand why you wouldn't reorder, because that's going to really jar some people who really need the tarot to be in a particular order, the major arcana especially. It's kind of like, well, let them discover on their own that maybe there's a better way to create the journey with this given deck. So anyway, we're going to start with the aces. And I would say that because of the nature of the aces, this is one of the sketchier sets. And I'm not saying that like the aces naturally lead to the twos, that naturally lead to the threes. It's more like each numbered set brings you to a certain ground zero that you build up and then back, and then the next one you're at ground zero again and building up. So anyway, here we go. The aces. So to me, grounding, another feeling I'm really getting from this deck, of course it's historically based, just because so many decks are historically based. But this is kind of primitive history or far history or maybe even personal. I don't know, but there's a sense that this deck is partly about connecting with history. But here we are, the aces. So the stones. To me, grounding is first and essential, and that's pretty much that idea rather than the image of the card that led me to make this the ground zero for this. And to me, you're grounded, you physically exist, you need to nurture yourself, you need to be part of a nurturing system. And that's the way I've started to see this card. And this card almost strikes me as being like temperance or even the star. But anyway, it is the Ace of Cups. And so yeah, and so that swan is developing within this circle of nurturing waters. And so that gives you the energy, the courage, the drive. Once you've had that grounding energy and that nurturing, you have the power to make something of yourself or make energy, create energy. And then what I'm focusing on primarily here is that arrow. Okay, so then once you've kind of generated energy individually, so this is very individual, right? Then this is community. It's community in the sense that it is just part of a larger structure. So this is awareness of being part of a larger structure, and also using that, it's like using the foundation of the family to move forward, to shoot yourself out into the world. So there's that. And maybe I can get the twos in here, and then we'll call it done for this video. So I'm starting on this one from, I'm starting with the Two of Arrows here, in the sense of like this feeling broken and or feeling unbalanced or not knowing how to balance yourself. And maybe there is a continued process of individuation going on here from the aces to the twos. But, you know, if you're feeling broken or unbalanced, it is difficult to make decisions. You know, which arrow do I use? Well, you know, your bow is broken, so it's kind of a moot point. But, you know, so, yeah, you can't, there's something wrong here. So, and then kind of going from that broken and not knowing what to do thing to feeling like you have to prove yourself even when you realize you're outclassed. Right? So look, one of the bunnies is smaller than the other. The ears of one are down as though it's feeling defeated already, and the other one has its ears up and clearly feels like it is going to prevail, like there's no question it is going to prevail. So to me, this is like trying to prove yourself, or like a rebellious teenager kind of a thing, and that it's coming actually more from insecurities, or again, maybe even being on the wrong path. You know, again, you're sort of broken and you're not sure what to do. And so I see this as stepping back from others, stepping back even maybe from challenges that other people set up for you, and standing on your own, deriving your value from yourself, or again, your grounding or roots, you know. But this is obviously a card of empowerment and, how would you say, I don't know, it's not really self-determination so much as finding a way to energize yourself. You know, not trying to energize or prove yourself by competition with others, but by just the resources at hand. The energy is around you, the energy is within you. And it's reaching this stage of development in the twos, being able to stand on your own and understanding your own power and energy, that then sets you up for relationship. Okay, so we have to love ourselves before we can love others. Right? So that's the twos. That's how I'm seeing the twos. All right. So I'm going to call this done so it doesn't get too overly long, and then I will go on and create another one. And I'll probably upload these either a day at a time or maybe 2 each day until they're done with. All right, take care. Bye-bye.